Hey, this is Shannon Holton, Real Salty Dietitian and owner of Sound Growth Nutrition and Wellness. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the diet culture and some of the things that have been in the headlines this week, and kind of what my thought process is and how I sort of evolved into this big, deep conversation going down a rabbit hole with myself this past week. The first thing I'll say is, if those of you who didn't see, there was an article and there's been a lot of news been reported about Oprah Winfrey having a apology and a discussion about her influence and her involvement in the diet culture that we've had over the last 50 years in our country. And I think it's a little ironic considering she is a representative for WW, also known as Weight Watchers, and their newly evolving practice and business model that it does incorporate the weight loss medications. I will say I give Weight Watchers props because they have involved and they are hiring dietitians to help provide some of those services and help to screen out for the medications. So that's actually a really good thing. And I've always been a fan of the way and the methodology that Weight Watchers has used to kind of, count food as points and really take a look at the quantity and the content of foods rather than just overall calories. So I will start with giving that disclaimer. But when I thought about that diet culture comment and thought about the article that I discussed a little while ago related to people's views on dietitians in relation to kind of obesity and diet and all of those things, saying that, we're moving away from using terms like diet and focusing on terminology like health at any size and all those things. And I do think some of that stuff gets taken out of context, but what doesn't get taken out of context is when I think back to my childhood and my adult female influences in my life. I think that at any point in time I always knew somebody who was on a diet or who was trying to lose weight, and that, not that that in and of itself is a bad thing, but it also doesn't translate to equally to genders. I can come up with a list of probably 10 different women I've known at different times that are on a diet or trying to lose weight and look better, but not so much for men. And in fact, one of the things that popped into my head was the terminology dad bod. People get really into like promoting and lifting up men who have a dad bod. And I sort of laughed to myself. And my husband used the comment not too long ago. And I looked at him and said, "What did you do to earn your dad bod?" When I think about women and what they've been through, especially if you've had children, we kind of deserve a mom bod. And for that to be an acceptable and a pleasant and actually a physically attractive thing, because we've made dad bod a physically attractive concept, so that puts me in my salty mood because I think about my own self. And again, I've mentioned that I've always had more issues with self-image and weight that I have carried over the years, and certainly after having 2 6-pound twins and a 9.5-pound baby 2 years later, my stomach doesn't look like it used to, and it never will unless I can afford to pay lots of money for surgery. But the beauty standards and the society standards as far as what women should look like even after going through and birthing all these children is just kind of funny to me. It's funny in a frustrating way. What I will say is that when we are talking about the concepts like health at any size, I feel like that's really what we're trying to get at. We're trying to say that, your body's been through some things. You may have had, children back to back, and that has a physical impact on your appearance. There's actually photo shoots that have been done with people before they had children and then after they have children, and a woman's body, facial structure, everything changes. Hair, I have a lot less hair than I used to, and my thyroid is affected, so that affected my appearance. And I just think that we should be looking at it in that way. When we say anti-diet or when we say health at any size, we're not saying that it's okay to be unhealthy. and to be just the healthiest version of you at an overweight state. What we're saying is to give yourself forgiveness for the flaws that come with natural life processes, and to allow and say that it's okay and you can be attractive and you can be, beautiful no matter what you've been through in your life. Because you can't look at a person and know their story and know their history and background. That was a little bit more salty than I usually give, but I've kind of had this brewing in my mind. And again, the terminology dad bod is a little triggering for me because I don't think it's fair that we don't get mom bod and we don't get the appreciation for the things that our bodies have been through. But I wanted to share my appreciation, especially on the heels of Mother's Day, for all you mothers out there that are making it work, that are working hard and doing the best that you can. And if you need support, looking for support is okay. And wanting to lose weight is okay. It's not that you can't want to, improve your diet or look better. It's not that you shouldn't achieve the best version of yourself, because I think that you're happier when you're the best version of yourself. But to give yourself grace and to encourage the others around you, especially your children that you're raising, your boys and girls, to encourage them to appreciate all people, and respect all people, because you can't tell on the outside what story their life has been through. I hope that was a little bit inspirational for today and maybe a little bit of a seed of thought for how to turn it around on yourself and appreciate yourself. And I hope that everybody has a great day. On Friday, we're going to do a suggestion that was brought to me. There's been a lot of discussion about some of these things we see advertising for legal aspects around baby formula, and I wanted to kind of explain that from a science perspective and give a little bit of information, especially those who are getting ready to have babies and are thinking about formulas and maybe afraid because they've seen some things on the news. We'll see you soon.